Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just welcoming you to Honor Politics today, but to say once again, congratulations. You've made it. It's been 4 years since the last campaign. It is official that the 2027 election campaign has begun. Today being what? 19th August of 2026. As usual, I would like to focus on this political season. I am representing the Olodo uprising, the illiterate, the village people, whatever derogatory terms and name they used to call us. That's my focus this election cycle. And the goal is to give Mr. President Bola Tinubu all the votes of the poor, the Olodo uprising, the illiterate. Finish the rest. So when political engagement, I will start with that, and the goal is to make sure the diaspora never had their voice, not to even talk of votes, and the so-called intellectual yet idiots. If you don't understand what that means, then you are not among those groups. Anybody that understand the phrase intellectuals, yes, idiots, then you are the one I'm referring to. Then, which 99% of them are in diaspora. So the campaign season has officially begun. Began today. For the opposition, the time has come to start coercing, harassing, and threatening for votes. After spending the last 3 years of abusing, insulting those in government, we will spend the next 6 months focusing on where the vote matters. The village people, the Olodo, among the Olodo uprising, the illiterates. And because you are trying to fit in 4 years program into 6 months, the escalation begins. Political tension, right as the campaign season officially gets underway. We all know that it often brings underlying frustration when a campaign begins like this, especially after years of political friction, heavy rhetorics. Let me get my, I don't know, I don't think I am. Let me get my earpiece. Supposed to get my earpiece, but oh. So this video was in Port Harcourt when we launched this campaign in 2022. So where as I was saying, now that the campaign has officially begun, campaign that started as maybe 5 hours ago, depends on your location, is underway as we speak. So anybody can officially campaign for his or her candidates. To those people who have been harboring secrets, as if you are building a nuclear bomb or you are planning to go around the moon. Well, you can now put your secret plans to use. But again, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care what secrets you have. If that secret doesn't involve billions, billions, billions of dollars that you are ready to have spent the incumbent president, that secret no go work. Because you are trying to fit a 4 years program to 6 months. Two things will either happen. Either you will crash before the final day, or you finish badly. That's what it means. That's what you are preparing for. So as the campaign season, it often brings underlying frustrations to heads, especially when campaign begins after years of political frictions, heavyweight debates and permutation, accusation, insults. I remember the opposition started, maybe not the opposition, but the obedient Labour Party in general, and the obedient is specific. They started by saying, "No, he is not my president. He is not my president. He is not my president." That took like 6 months of 2023, just wasted in nonsense. So there were heavy rhetorics and sharp polarization cut across every nooks and cranny, every constituencies of the country. Now the focus, the focus frequently and as we speak, has shift from long-time policy, even if yes, I can argue the opposition don't get any policy that is different from what the current government is doing. They all belong to the same political ideology. They are all Western chihuahuas. Our fate is being decided in the boardrooms of Washington D.C. and London, and then be the paper boys, messengers, spreading their wings as if in the name of leaders, the leader. Well, that those policies, if they had it at all, is gone. That policy is gone, and now the focus is shift to intense mobilization. Now, to those people who say they get secrets, we are keeping secrets. Well, if you fail to unveil that your secrets to mobilize aggressively and extensively mobilize people to a polling unit, I wish you luck. But to those people who spend the last 3 years cultivating the grassroots, the polling units, the ward level, the local government level, however way you were doing it, I think this last 6 months is for you to put that in one goal, synchronize them and go to war. This is not time to be building consensus and polling units today. This is the time to say, okay, for the past 2 years, for the past 3 years, this is how many local government our president has been. This is the leadership we create at that level. So that time we now bring them, mobilize them at the center and see what collectively they can come up with. If you are not in that realm, again, good luck. Because the escalation of political tensions, right as we speak, begins from today. As campaign season don't officially get underway, one thing for sure, frustration is here to lead the way. Because when campaign begins like this, especially after years of, as I said, political theatrics, friction, he is not my president. He is a criminal. He is a thief. He will not know where he come from. Blah 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 blah. I hope all that works for you. But last, you have the next 5 months to lead people to the polling units, to the polling stations to cast their votes. Now, who carry people go polling units? Many pass. Now, ain't gonna win. That's going to be the winners by number. Now, if you think you are popular, we are going to put it to text. So the strategy of targeting specific voting block begins. The strategy of targeting specific voting block, voting constituency begins. Those political parties who believe that Osun is not important because regardless of anything they do, it will not add to their tally at the presidential level. Congratulations. Let's see how you now channel your resources to the so-called important states that you are targeting. This is the time. So the strategy of targeting specific areas, specific in blood, specific in tribe, specific religion, because it was tribes in the name of celebrating victory was on display, full display in Osun. So if your strategy is to target that specific religion, tribe, the floor is officially open. In fact, including the diasporas, if that is your target, they are up for grab. But under this kind of high pressure condition, they only highlight one thing. They highlight how fierce political competition can become. When a campaign rally on aggressive tactics, which I believe that's the kind of secret the opposition claim to be harboring. It's not just to put that tactics on display, but aggressively, but start coercing people, intimidation. If you no vote for this person, if you no go register person, we'll not go send you money again. If you don't do this and not this, we'll not go do this again. Well, the floor is open. You can officially start spying on and thinking that your financial sanction will work. As the neocon, the West, who are using that kind of power against Russia, how they don't sanction them reach if it works. So you can begin all the diaspora's echo chambers.
Hey, it's I just heard from my friend Michael about Columbia House Record Club.
Yeah, you can now start threatening your family, your committee member, your village people, your church people, that if they no vote for this person, if they no follow this political movement, political party, they are going to sanction them but stop sending money. You can officially start showing yourself now. It's the season. Instead of spending that resources or 1% of that resources, all this energy that you are about to force into people's life these 6 months, if only you were using that same these aggressive tactics of coercion and intimidation to build structure or organizational outreach from that 2023 up to now. Trust me, I don't know how much your competitor wants to buy those kind of people and believe that they will get what they are buying in return. These aggressive tactics with opposition party specifically, they won't use to they start to they harass people, to intimidate people, to start sanctioning everybody. If they just put 1/10 of that energy and that resources, that capital to use from 2023, but start organizing, put an outreach, just like the Redeem there. I mean, you don't need to go study this kind of thing for Harvard or anything. Study Redeem, study Winners. We are all members. If we no be member, our relative be member. If we no our relative member, our neighbor be member, our community. I mean, they are all around us. How do they get people? These people grow year by year, regardless of attack that you take to the Christendom, to these churches. They explode. Copy them. They not just they pray. They don't just pray. They reach out. They not just they reach out every Christmas or every Easter, every 4 years. They reach out on daily basis. So the time where you spend, start harassing people every now and then, just use that energy to just put organizing outreach. It will deepens the division that nobody can buy. Your own favor anyway. So for diaspora communities who are often heavily, you know, be cutted for their financial backing because of the only reason that you are relevant despite your proximity to where action is because of the little finance that is coming one form or the other. So your financial backing and influence with all that, yet distance is still very obvious from day-to-day political reality. Again, this create another hostile environment that can make engagement feel deeply polarized as this small circle. Everybody's ready. Because I said it before. If your tactics, if your strategy is for you to wait till an official campaign start as it begins today to start organizing, I hope you get money, and yeah, your money must be more than you must be have the will to spend more than the federal government. Because if you think the federal government is not doing anything, the incumbent president has not done anything for the past 3 years, I agree with you. But one thing for sure, they will do something this next 5 months, and that thing are money. They will spend it, and they will spend it as much. The federal coffin is open to reach everywhere. Unless you have that kind of money, your strategy will fail, will not work. It will not work. So if the diaspora, if you guys are getting more attention, if your attention skyrocket from today, just noticing that because of the finance that you have that you are known for, are relevant for. And if you are, as I said, if you think you can weaponize that, if you think you can weaponize the finance in form of sanction, if anybody no go your way, you start giving that person money, you are actually making things easier for the incumbent president to spend less. That's what it means. If you take your money out of the equation, you help the federal government to spend less. And this 2027, if the turnout of the election no exceed 45 to, if you no reach 50%, Bola Tinubu he go win landslide. And the only way you fit reach 50% or more is when the opposition do the needful. As at this point, I can only say aggressively what? Go with the people. All I can do is wish you good luck. To say you don't work on it for the past 3 years, I can beat my chest that whatever you projected, it might come true. But at this point, all the polls merchants, everybody would spring up now. Maybe from next week or 2 weeks time, they will say, "Oh, first poll, Obi has won Oshun. Tinubu is in distant fourth." I like that kind of hustle. So as the election cycle progresses, maintaining focus on substantive platforms and constructive civil participation remain one of the primary words challenge of any democratic words electorate. And that's again where money plays out. What specific issues should we focus the resources on this particular time and social time, social period? Or which region? As some people say, should know it, or should know the importance. Let's see how that we, you know, focus on the issue in the region or state that they deem important. And here we did now. Obi. I like our presidential style of government because it's not carnival. Every 4 years, we are treated to the best of carnival activities, the best anywhere. That's one thing I love about this for 4 years campaign. It's always fun, 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 fun. The noise, the noise has started. So as the work. As the knot starts, as the knots begin, so is the work. After years of online posturing, insult slanging, and armchairing commentary everywhere with all emotion and ignorance, from a safe distance, reality is setting in. Begins from today. Real political power, you understand that is not built on a coercion or threats from afar. All your threats, all the noise we will only make. We'll see how effective that it's going to be. This next 6 months will show how network is built from words to words. Who is doing that, who is not. From the polling units to the grassroots. Time to stand with the real people on ground who actually build and sustain our community. And now we now go understand what I've been singing about. Politics is local. You understand that all your braggadocious you online, how effective it is. All the grammarians. Let's see how effective those grammar will work. I said, the campaign season is officially here. True to form, the noise level from the opposition has skyrocketed. They don't start out. Wait. I don't understand. Victory from Ocean. At least for the past 3 years and 6 months, which ended today. What have we seen? What did we see? What has been happening? All I can tell from my own comfort zone here, all I saw, all I see, all I'm still saying is what? Endless insults. Endless insults from the one up to this moment. Remote grandstanding. Everybody they go grand. If you do this, this go happen. If you rig the election, this don't go happen. That's what I've been hearing for the last 3 years and 6 months. All are theoretical lectures directed at world leaders. All the insults, grandstanding, all the theater, the lecturing, everything were directed at world leaders. All forms of people, and from where we are sitting comfortably thousands of miles away. Some of them are even in hiding behind keyboards. They spend 3 years, the last 3 years and 6 months, avoiding the hard, unglamorous work, the dirty job of building actual structure from the poly unit level. They're scared of getting their hands dirty. Okay. What's stopping you guys to put your resources to use? your intelligence, your education to use. I mean, if you can speak grammar from afar, perfect theory, insulted leader from your comfort zone, and you believe is effective, hey, you can also as well channel that energy away from those leaders and direct it to the people and say, come, how do I earn your loyalty starting from now against 4 years from now, 8 years from now? That is the only way. And now that the clock is ticking down, chicken, what's your opening play that is starting with? The exact same playbook: coercion, harassment, pressure tactics, sanction. I will withdraw my money back if you don't do this. I will do this if you don't do that. I will do this if you don't do this. What the heck do you think you is? All in the name of desperate attempt to bully voters. These are in diaspora tactics. Bully voters into submission. After looking down on the ordinary people, call them Olodo uprising, call them illiterate, call them uncut, call them uncivilized, all kind of names for a good 3.5 years. Dismissing them with condescending labels. All the while, lazy intellectuals and distant commentator from everywhere pretend they know what's best for the grassroots. That's why they're always angry. What can they do? Yeah. Let me be completely clear about something. Real democracy is not a social media comment section. Oh. It's not built on threats. And it's certainly not won by remote shouting match, as we do every day on platform. Because true political strength belongs to the people on ground. Doesn't matter how intellectually you frame your ideas, it cannot be practicalized at the polling unit level. So noise. Because real democracy is not it's not a social media section, as I said. It's not built on threats. It's certainly not won by what remote shouting match as we do. True political strength belongs to the people on ground. The one doing the actual word level organizing. These are the people you connect with. Protecting their community. These are the people you liaise with. And the people who are demanding real accountability, these are the people you partner with on ground. Because they go from block by block. The area of letting these diaspora intellectuals, as they regard themselves, the academicians, the bureaucrats, to dictate local happenings. It's over. Before they even try to decode or explain what you mean by they already understand because they have access to the same information, the same education that you have that separated you from them before. That's what people don't understand. The bridge between the learned and the so-called unlearned people. Technology has bridged that. So that's why you have to work twice. You have to actually go down to the people 3 years, 4 years into no, not 6 months before election. But we treat it as a carnival, so why not? Let's have fun. Now we campaign has officially begun. What are the expectations from political parties during this period? For onlooker like me, what are the expectations? Since the political party don't have any goal, any policy, any strategy, any tactics that is different from the people in government, you can tell by their antics. When the APC start, city boys, opposition goes start village boys, be whatever they call them. When they always copy each other as they go along, and I'm not surprised because after all, a turn by turn. And I'm beginning to say they are good at what they are doing. That's why they keep repeating the same tactics because we don't have expectation of a political party. That's why you see all the commentary about Oshu election. Nobody talks about the political party, what is expected of them. Everybody is expecting INEC to be this, to be this, to be that. They expect INEC to bring out the rules. They expect INEC to supply the materials. They expect INEC to set the rules and regulation. They expect INEC to protect the vote. They expect INEC to deliver the vote. They expect INEC to lead people to the polling unit. They expect INEC to tell the people who to vote for. Then at the end of the day, they all say, oh, INEC fail. Why wouldn't they fail? Maybe human being they be. What are the expectations of the political party? Forget political candidates now. Let's forget about Obi, Tinubu, Atiku, and what is the expectation of the political parties? They are expected to lead people to the polling unit, laced with the ideas and what they think they have to offer to the people. It's not the job of an INEC or the job of any comment or anybody. It's the job of the political party to actually do that, because you are telling people to go and vote for you and your candidate. So you don't expect me to do that for you. I don't know what you have, the promise you want to offer the people, the agreement you want to reach, what they are going. That is your job. So we should set expectation for the political parties. What is their engagement at grassroots level? At what level? What is their engagement? What is their presence? What is their credibility? I mean, what have they been doing for the past 3 years? Because they are expected to be building local government structures, local structure at every ward. And if you don't have the capacity to at least reach out to at least 85 to 90% of the world, you have no business running for president. Or just keep your noise at the state level so that the electorate can think and see clearly. Because building a local structure is very important. This next 5 months, if you've been doing that the last 3 years, this next 5 months is for you to now collect the feedback from all this local structure, collect data. This is time to aggressively analyze it and apply them. So anybody, any institution, any NGO, anybody at all that come out with poll this, ask them, how did they arrive at this poll? What are the physical structure? What are the that he or she has put in place in the last election to arrive at this? We should be expectation, moving beyond media presence to establish active network at the world level, polling unit level. Anybody who cannot show results of this, any political party, I'm talking about any political party who cannot show practical example of what he or she has been doing beyond the media noise. Want to see your authentic footprints at the polling unit level. Anybody who cannot proceed this score sheet is intended to rig, and there's nothing wrong with that, because rigging is part of the process. That's why there's law behind. There's law along that line. And our people say, "Now, wouldn't cash na be thief." So the political party should be able to show we the electorate their voter outreach, how far they don't go. I mean, data should show for it now. Technology is everywhere. The idea that I cannot reach social place because it's too remote is over. So you should be able to present your outreach. But I said you cannot rig where you are not popular. You cannot rig where you don't have structure. So your data of engaging everyday citizens directly to be able to explain it to the party, the platform address, local government, local grievances. Gradually, we can build authentic community level support rather than relying on sole from top down strategy. Because all these people they say, "Oh, our secrets, see our strategy is secret. Our strategy is secret." That is because now that they are can now officially release that secret, you find out that top down they will force everything to the local government. That's why they will insult them, they will coerce them, threaten them if they don't do this. That's a top down level. And that's why they're always very angry after the election if things don't go their way. They're angry at the people that they forgot for the past 3.5 years. They are now the problem. While they fail to shade their words, their day-to-day engagement with everyday citizen. They are waiting for that top down message to come. they could begin this send out a slogan, hashtags from the center now. They expect everybody to comply. And if you don't, you are the problem of the country.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. First, go to Riverside and open an account. When you're ready to record, just hit
to power.
And everybody, many people.
I know many people.
I spoke on behalf of my fellow bishops.
Because recently, after the meeting with the president,
Yes.
after you had reviewed some of the things that are supposed to have been done in Nigeria, there were some clashes from the presidency that we are not supposed to have said in the public. Do you feel embarrassed about that?
And I don't have to, because there were other voices now on the social media. Not only that, so I didn't even have to reply to anything. Other people have spoken on my behalf. I didn't go to arise to please government or to just please people, but to tell the truth. That's all I stand for. So, I cannot be embarrassed. I'm 82 years old. Nobody can embarrass me. And I'm not afraid of anybody. Nobody at this stage now. Are they going to arrest me? I can carry me to where? And we are still lucky in this Nigeria. We can still talk. We shouldn't take that for granted. There are many countries in Africa where no bishop dares to talk like we do here. That we can still talk, and all they do is to insult you. They don't carry you and lock you up in an unknown dungeon. That means we are not doing badly.
We still have religious leaders like...
No, mind you, I didn't talk on my own now. I spoke on behalf of my fellow bishops. We drafted a statement. We contained all that I said in the interview. So all the bishops of Nigeria spoke that way. It was their voice I was echoing. And each of them are free to say the same thing in their dioceses. And they are doing it. I cannot speak on behalf of other religious leaders. Everybody have their own job to do. But many of the other religious leaders have supported us. We cannot start telling all those who have been supporting us and say, yes, what we said represents what everybody else, what they themselves do. Non-Catholic leaders, Muslim leaders, they have all spoken. When it comes to what is happening to Nigeria, the poverty, the suffering, we are all in the same boat now. Abby. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's not be fooled. He can speak and get away with it, not necessarily because of his age. It is because of the sheer number of the people he represents. Whether we like it or not, Catholic, I dare to say they are up to 30% of the Christian in Nigeria. You don't play with that kind of democracy. Now, only Tinubu can call their bluff off in their presence and them the consequences. Outside the sheer numbers that he represents, that the structure of the Catholic stretch all the way to the what? Vatican. That is where they take order from. So the man is not just speaking from the 30% Catholic in Nigeria, he's also carrying the voice of the Pentagon. So that alone is enough for any president to be scared to get him arrested, because the consequence will be instant. And not that the president is scared. I mean, we see clearly that Tinubu has the balls to say, call the bluff of the Pentagon off and call the bluff of those 30% of Nigerian Christians off. And we see the reaction. Immediately, the Pentagon sent a representative to say, come. The man might overspeak, but are we still game? So if anybody, just because the man said that you can still speak and he say nobody can get him arrested, you go there, go to Mizian. La kanta shantarabobosi katabosi atasiko. You go disappear first for like a couple of days before they know what they happen to you. As campaign don't start, let me see. Any political parties don't kick off. Any political party don't kick off their campaign. Because that's what we should be looking at from now on. All this accord signing, Tinubu believes in true federalism. All kind of noise we go hear now. We'll be hearing all kind of jargons. Say anything to get traction. as if now that's why I call it a carnival. How you display reach will get you traction. As I said, instead of this political party to be aggressively spend most of your time at the grassroots level, no, they'll be fighting for spotlights, for platforms. They'll be spending most of their resources in the media rather than spending at the grassroots level. They'll be spending it on the media, reacting to nonsense and rubbish, reacting to all the distraction that the federal government can put before them.
The national leader of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, Serake DC, hosts leaders of Alliance for Democracy, a defunct party, in his house today to discuss past alliances and how they can forge ahead to rebuild democratic process in Nigeria. What happened at the consultation meeting inside?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. It's been my honor, pleasure, and privilege in the last couple of hours to have hosted our leaders and my colleagues in the Alliance for Democracy of old. As you remember, we had only 3 parties when we started out this democratic dispensation, 1998-99. And I started as founding state chairman, and later became national legal advisor. And these were my bosses. And Baba is here, Chief Odunrinde. He's 86 years. And we are pleased to have played host to him. Thank you, Baba, for coming. And our founding national secretary, Professor Odenta, then Dr. Odenta, now Professor Odenta, Dr. Manzo, and several other of my colleagues. They're all here in no particular order. It's been my pleasure to have hosted them. And since we started working together, that is 27 years or so ago, we've not really had an opportunity to meet and interact. Life happened, and we went different ways. But still in the vanguard of our nation's democracy, in different forms, shapes, and circumstances. But today it's been a pleasure to have hosted, and I thank Baba for coming, who was the elder of the day in this interaction. Thank Professor Odenta and Dr. Manzo and the other organizing team members of the team that within a very short period were able to put this together. We received also the apologies of a lot of our colleagues who, as a result of the shortness of the time, couldn't make it. And the organizing team, drawing from what we have done, what we have started to lay the foundations for, they will build on it. And it has been decided that they will, in no distant time, gather all of us again to have conversations that are necessary and appropriate in the circumstances of our nation's democracy. We'll continue to rub minds together, continue to advise ourselves, continue to review circumstances. But for today, it was just a meeting to enable us touch base after such a long time. And not only were we happy, all of us, to rekindle this fraternity in the service of our democracy and our country, we also used the opportunity to link up. And significantly also, we observed a minute of silence in memory and in honor of all our leaders and colleagues who started working with us and with several others to begin to lay the foundation of our nation's democracy. Most of those who are in different offices may not understand or appreciate the depth and the nature of sacrifices that these gentlemen you see here and several others made. When the history of this period is written, there are some names and some sacrifices that people are forgotten. But the truth is that sacrifices were made and difficult decisions were taken, and people worked their brains out to enable us to have this democracy that we see. A number of them have even gone to be with the Lord. So today it was very solemn when we all stood up to observe a minute of silence in honor of our leaders and our colleagues and allies who embarked on this journey with us, did their best, and have today gone to be with the Lord. But all in all, today was an opportunity to interact and network and remind ourselves about how far we have come together. We've looked at what we have been able to achieve in several years now, and then we're also interested in the present and in the future of our country and the direction of our country's democracy and governance. But time will take care of that. But for today, we have not taken any broad decisions along those themes. Today was just an opportunity for us to rekindle old friendships, rebuild old networks and alliances, and we look forward to further deliberations and meetings. Today,
Now, okay, anybody paying attention to this? Alliance for Democracy, former, why would they address Sarah K. Dixon with former National Legal Advisor, Alliance for Democracy? I'm not saying that is not who he was, but as we speak, is the current leader or one of the leader of Nigeria Democratic Congress, the NDC. Now I'm pointing this out for those who are new in this game. Alliance for Democracy gave birth to the man called Bala Ahmed Tinubu. That is his political platform. Even up to today, it still belongs to that platform. In fact, he's the national leader of that platform. Yes, APC is an umbrella that absorbed all of them. We remember PDP was also part of APC. Up to today, some of them are still there. CPC, the famous watch, which eventually produced the presidential candidate in the name of late President Muhammadu Buhari. Why Alliance for Democracy was part of one, led by Tinubu. Because don't they think that this sudden spring up of NDC, it doesn't add up to me. So I will be very surprised if OB tickets even get up to 3 million at this point, because these are agents put in place to work from the inside. Because all you need to ask yourself that how many people will be the carry enter NDC, unlike when they were in labor. So today, as we speak, the man is welcoming the ADC. Doesn't matter if they are former member, if they are today. These are Yoruba, they are Omoluabis, they work together. Welcoming them to his folks. What the oh, I want to be wrong so bad that these people are not agents, are not working for the system. Don't forget Tinubu now, because I said it from the inception of this electoral cycle that the aim is to make sure the Obi presidential ambition dies in 2027. What do I mean by dies? We'll make sure he doesn't perform as well as he did in 2023. The goal is to make sure they no get up to 6 million or he no will finish among the first three at all. And this is not, I didn't arrive at this conclusion based on Tinubu political ambition. No, I'm coming to this conclusion based on the fact on ground, the idea of turn by turn. Because at this point of the game, Obi presidential ambition a spoiler to that arrangement. Anything will make Obi get 6 million or above in 2027. How do you exclude him from contesting in 2031? He will be not just the most popular candidate or presidential candidate out there after Tinubu. Tinubu is not coming back, or maybe Atiku. If you want to pair them between him and Atiku, I don't know. That would be a tough hurdle to climb. So the earlier we destroy that ambition and create a free pathway for that turn by turn to flourish, the better for us. This is me thinking as a system guy now. So most of the attack, I said it before, everybody go the attack will be as the games don't enter the campaign stage now. And I promise you, 99% of those attack is not going to be coming from Tinubu camp. When I say Tinubu camp, even among the APC, they get camp. It is going to be coming from any group that is headed by the establishment candidate, establishment prospect, or anybody that belongs to the North. Because it is easier for us to have, for them to have all the candidates coming from the North, come 2031, than to have one from the North who is as popular as Obi. It's not going to work. So this whole arrangement of Saraki Dixon being addressed as a former Alliance for Democracy, this is just all in your face. Because at this point, you cannot go back. Where Obi won't go? He's stuck. Because putting this former national legal advisor of Alliance for Democracy, it's in your face. I hope a different story will be told come 6 months from now, and that will prove me that I am wrong.
But time will take care of that. But for today, we have not taken any broad decision.
Frederick, you say, okay, I'm watching you from Edo State. We are from Edo, like this, your platform is always educative. It's not like other platforms. Thank you. You said, I don't think Obi will get up to that 6 million. Well, that's where we are now. That's the contention. We better get up to that. If we get out of that, I'll rather see Obi getting more than 6 million, so that 2031 will be more interesting than me then kick him out now. So if you ask me, I'm rooting for Obi to perform. So I've said it before, this 2027 competition has little to do with kicking out Tinubu, maybe 25%. But every machinery, every money, every resources, 75 to 80% of the money that will be spent in this election cycle will be spent in targeting Obi. Not because it's special, not because of anything, but because he is able to insert himself in a strategic position that he cannot be ignored. How do you explain, or how do you analyze that the very first time in modern Nigerian contemporary politics, somebody from the South has more than 1 million votes and is not on ballot or is not on the winning ticket? How do you explain that? Because take Tinubu out of the picture, you have Obi and the rest. Atiku will be the next favorite guy. But age will be a major obstacle. But is that going to work? I'll say no. Anybody that wants to capitalize on Atiku's age go fail. Because unless the Atiku no fit talk or you no fit walk, that's not the barrier of becoming a president anywhere in the world. If you think I don't know what I'm talking about, go and read the original scene. It was about Joe Biden presidency. That guy don't know what thing they happen. So anybody that want to capitalize on it, it no go work against Atiku. You have to do something better. So going to 2031, if would be do perform well, get 6 million and above, it will be between 2%. That's why the logic behind Konkoso joining Obi tickets, that story has not been fully been put before us yet. As far as I'm concerned, he's been coerced, he's been forced, he's been threatened, he's under duress to accept that position. If you remember the allegation that came days leading to that decision, was accused of being a Boko Haram terrorist sponsor, and he was also accused of the brain behind Sharia law in Kano State. And before you knew it, he took the position of being Obi's presidential candidate, and that conversation ends. So as far as I'm concerned, that's coercion, that's duress, that's under, it's like you're negotiating with him with gun on the table. Doesn't matter if the gun is loaded or not. The fact that you have a gun on your table give you an upper hand. But we'll see how it plays out. So that's why, as far as the northern candidate is concerned, Atiku will still remain the favorite going to 2031. In fact, regardless of his performance in 2027, even if he get 1 million, well, maybe get 2 million, because Kukusi has 1 million. Comparable facts, Obi will surprise all you all you distractors, because he will surpass the numbers from man of prestige. That's my goal, that's my prayer. What do you think I have to lose, I have to gain? The more Obi perform, the more the political process become more interesting. If you follow me well, I've been saying it. Obi's chance of becoming president in Nigeria, if there's anything like that in his future, in his destiny, is more. He has more chance of becoming president in 2031 than 2027. I said it, and this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm saying. Because he will be the only standout come 2031 from the south. And as far as the constitution goes, he's ready. He can run for president as long as he wish. You know, disqualify him. But the only way that can happen is for him to get more than 6 million. And as far as I'm concerned, he has the chance to get more than 6 million, but at the same time, there are more obstacles for him to scale now than there was in 2023. 2023, nobody know what he can pull off. Nobody know where to target, how to come after him, where to scale. Nobody know that. But today, all those cards are out. Now, can he spring up another surprise? I say anything is possible, but that is yet to be proven. So, as I said, every Obi is an obstacle to the political arrangements, to the political structure at this point. So the force against Obi going to 2027 is not just coming from Tinubu camp. And I don't talk this thing. People don't want to listen. When Obi joined APC, I said it. I said, when they don't attack ADC, they don't want to give Obi ticket. I say, come. Everybody they are choose Tinubu. I say, you guys should understand how this game works. Take your eyes off Tinubu for a minute. Maybe things will become clearer. There is no northern presidential hopeful in Nigeria today. Anybody from the geopolitical north, start from Saraki, started from Okene upward, down to Sokoto to Borno. There is no presidential hopeful at this moment There's nobody that has the presidential ambition in his political card for the next 15 years that will support Obi from the north. Anybody that is joining force with Obi, now I will rather suspect that person than to fully open my hand for that person. Because at this point of the game, Obi na spoiler for that arrangement. I hope the Obi presidential planner understand what I'm saying. That the focus should be spread on those other political players than Tinubu himself. The reason why Tinubu did not focus so much on Obi during the 2023 election was because of Atiku leverage at the presidency. So that is more of a threat. The reason Adeleke they run from one press conference to another with Davido today, now because they know damn well that it is not over until it is over, that the presidency can still take that win away from it via the judiciary if they so wish. He knows. That is why they jump from one press conference to another. And from the moment he win, he turn around, I am supporting Tinubu, I am endorsing him, because he understands what can happen even 6 months down the road. So Tinubu understand the link of Atiku to the presidency. I would think no maker really focus on Obi openly like that. But now this focus and strategy is different. He doesn't need to expand so much resources in trying to stop Obi. All he needs to do is to empower every other candidate from the north that has presidential ambition in 2023 to work against Obi. People should go and study Goodluck Jonathan, how they take him out from 2020, from 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. People should go and study those years. What the establishment did to be able to work against Goodluck Jonathan from the inside out, from PDP. The only person that was 100% in for Goodluck Jonathan was Tony Anene and his political family. Every other structure were coerced to work against Goodluck Jonathan. Obasanjo came out publicly and shared his membership card. Then the chairman of that party was Mwazu from Bauchi, the governor of Bauchi State, was the chairman of PDP, going to an election with a presidential candidate, an incumbent. But guess what? He has to also work. They force him to work against Goodluck Jonathan from the inside out. So Obi is at a critical stage. Now in the face the toughest challenge. How he performed will go a long way to extend his political career, to extend his influence. How he performs. If you do well, he go. If you don't do well, rampant katan sharabu. That will be the end of it.
Along those themes. Today was just an opportunity for us to rekindle old friendships, rebuild old networks and alliances, and we look forward to further deliberations and meetings going forward. And thank you very much for coming, and thank all my leaders, my colleagues for finding time to be here. My family and I are delighted to host them. It's a meeting that we should have had long, long ago, but it's good at least that God has given us the privilege to have hosted and to have all participated in this, and we're all happy.
Excellency,
Yes.
this consultation, does it really have the opportunity of bringing those This very
So
consultation.
today we are meeting as old allies, as old operatives, old guards of the Alliance for Democracy of old. And of course, I use the opportunity to inform them what they already know, which is that one of them, from the experiences and the lessons and the mentorship that we had from AD, we are starting a party. We have started a party. And they already know that. But I took up the opportunity of this interaction to also formally notify them. Okay? And like I said, with time, we will discuss, have other conversations, and then appropriate decisions will be taken, but not for today.
People together to ask who is still alive, who is still well. There are members of the party, members of ODD who are in NDC. Some may be in SDP or APC or ADC and so on. There are many parties. That is not our primary consideration. Okay. The home here is that of Senator Dixon, a leader and a founding member of Alliance for Democracy. By the time we keep meeting and conversing and dialoguing and consulting, we'll of course reach a decision whether this platform is a platform for everybody or whether it's a platform for several other people. That day has not come. Even in the meeting we had inside, our host made it clear. Today is not about partisan politics. Today is about Alliance for Democracy. It's about the history of the struggle for the restoration of democracy in this country, 1998, 1999, and the labors of our heroes and heroines past.
Okay. Well, we'd like to know how
these people are working for Tinubu. ADCB, ADB, this Alliance for Democracy, class of 1999. Who are the group of people Bola Tinubu favor as soon as they get to Asura? The class of 1999. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. But these people are not working for Tinubu.
How did you extend your invitation for members of AD? I know that the president was a member of AD. There are other people, Shegun, Lisa Conde. How did you call this people? Did you just choose some people and leave those out?
This is the first meeting of the union. And that meeting must not get everybody involved at the initial stage of its incarnation. We have called those who are readily available and those who are within reach. Consultations will now move on, and they move on at a very fast and furious pace. By the time the media begins now to celebrate this coming together, this union of members of the Alliance for Democracy, I'm sure the people you mentioned will get to know about it. Sometimes when there's so much engagement in power, you know how difficult it is to reach those who are in power. But now when they see this in the public domain and they see the faces here, when they see Reverend Dr. Manzar Abubakar and Udenta Orienta standing before the media, it is not a joke in this country. I can bet you it is not a joke. We know this republic. If you talk about the Second Republic, we may keep mute. About the third, we may be talking a little bit. This fourth republic is our own. Anybody I mentioned in this republic, even the names I mentioned, they know how AD was found and founded, and whether they were even there when we founded AD. I registered Alliance for Democracy. I registered the party with INEC. I collected the first provisional form, that is certificate, provisional certificate. I collected the original certificate. And every other person who belonged to the party, I know when they joined. I will not name names until it is time to name names. Who joined when? No matter how powerful you are today. Who made who? And how the people were made. Those stories may well be told down the line. For now, it is reunion of Alliance for Democracy stalwarts.
Thanks. Again, see? Professor Udente, founding National Secretary, Alliance for Democracy, AD. This is Tinubu agents being planted to come and work with the NDC. Oh God! It's just like make CPC. Maybe by 2031, the group of CPC will tell say yes, we are here to talk about the founding of APC. Now we found that we are here to talk about the history with the opposition party. Like, this is insane. These people are internal agents. Why? If nobody can tell me that. I to do with that now. That's Tinubu had AD, popularize it. In the sense that spread the power around. When Obasanjo was bent on destroying the AD, Obasanjo collected every state except Lagos. And Lagos keep AD striving, brought it to the national prominence. And eventually, Tinubu can say, yes, AD produced a president because of him. So, now people we know who are, as your Odente said, they are Fourth Republic. Nobody can tell us anything about Fourth Republic. We know who be who.
Represented in the home of Sireke Dixon, His Excellency, former governor of Bayelsa State, and the founder of NDC, and the leader of NDC.
It's 2027.
We are in an interesting
This
period.
season in cinemas. Maybe not, because this is a
Carnival
cookie
season
ad.
is upon us.
Now, as the political atmosphere gathers momentum ahead of the 2027 elections, supporters of Governor Bassey Otu and his deputy, Peter Ode, have taken their campaign for continuity to the streets of Calabar. And despite the rain, bloggers, influencers, youths, and celebrities turned out for what the organizers described as a 1 million man march in support of the Otu Ode ticket. Tina Kweke has more.
Did not dampen the political excitement. Supporters of Governor Bassey Otu and his deputy Peter Ode defied the weather to march through Calabar, chanting and displaying placards in support of the administration. The organizers described the mobilization as a reflection of growing confidence in the administration, saying their support was driven not merely by political affiliation, but by what they describe as visible development, improved governance, and initiatives impacting communities across the state.
I wanted to put more effort. Has already put some effort, which I have seen already. Let's say 4 or 5 years ago, I don't think I will be proud to say, Fina, come to Calabar, I'm doing something. I can't even try it to import anybody to Calabar. But now I believe I've been in Calabar for almost 2 weeks now, trying to put this together. Sometimes I work 12 a.m., 1 a.m. The area of security has already started impacting on. You should keep it up.
So far, I've heard just a number.
I talk and say, campaign season, na carnival season. Everybody go to organize. You go to see rallies, 1 million rallies, 2 million man rallies. Carnival.
Of a couple of governors that are really working in their states, and Governor Bassey Otu happened to be one of them. And when my person here told me about this peaceful march, I told him I was interested. I really want to come and join it, because the same power, the same strength we're using to talk about bad governance, we should also apply same force to encourage those that are doing well.
Receiving the endorsement, Deputy Governor Peter Ode says the mobilization reflects a decision reached after the visitors assessed development in the state themselves. He highlighted roads, infrastructure, security and tourism as areas where the administration wants its record to be charged.
This means a lot to us. This means that people from the state and even across the states that are seeing the developmental strife going on in Cross River State. And they are here to appreciate it. So as a government, we are happy that people out there are assessing us based on what we are doing.
With the political atmosphere already heating up, the organizers say they will continue to use their platforms to mobilize support for the Otu Ode ticket ahead of 2027. Tina Akweke, TVC News, Calabar, Cross River.
It don't start. Campaign season is upon us. Carnival season is here. You don't get your costume. Now it's time for the merchandiser to hammer. And people go to invest in clothes, cabs, all manners of paraphernalias to promote their candidate, rather than instead of it, they don't spend that money to feed their community.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to.
I'm sure it's President Bola Ahmed. We want to say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The only
He's our
reason
president now.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
See, these are people that spend their energy to say, he is not my president. He is not my president. Forgetting that another competition will come again. And here they are. I like the fact that she started another energy. But let's see what that energy will produce at the polling unit.
I don't have a president.
No, don't say that.
Why would I not say that? If you want to
Bola
sit here,
Ahmed Tinubu is not your president.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos State, if you want to sit here,
so that you be the one interviewing.
No, I don't even need to. I'll just walk away so that you answer. You ask yourself and you answer yourself.
In his August media chat, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike heavily criticized your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, arguing that his public persona does not match his governance track record. How do you respond to this?
Mr. Wike is a mere appointee. When he becomes a presidential candidate and he makes that statement, I will respond to him. Right now, it's a waste of my time.
I like that.
He's the FCT minister.
This is what staying focused means. You don't just respond to every comment. But I hope there's a strategy behind it. Outside grandstanding, I hope it will transit to what votes. I hope there's a strategy behind this grandstanding that will eventually lead people to the vote, to a polling unit. Because if all this grandstanding and all this energy did not lead to the polling booth,
he's an FCT minister.
Is determined to deliver FCT where he presides over and River State. So you don't think his comments matter?
It's not. His comment doesn't mean anything. It's not worth it. It's just a mere appointee who has to, do what is called boy for his principal. So I do understand with him. It's not worth any response. If Mr. Wiki said I'm mere appointee. That's the way he said it. Even for River State, they send a message.
If Peter Obi says, for instance, he will support Atiku, what would you tell him? Would you back him?
He's supporting Atiku now. He's supporting. Is it Aisha that is supporting? No, so let me tell you something. Peter Obi does not own an Aisha.
Yes.
So I'm not an employee. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, you work." I don't work for Peter Obi. I work with Peter Obi. So I am my own person, and I'm giving him support.
Absolutely.
So the fact that if he decides to support anybody, so what does that mean? You say if he decides to drop out of the race and support any, is that what you're saying?
I will not be surprised if Aisha collect appointment for next administration. This one is technically and systematically and narratively, rhetorically distancing himself from Obi, saying that a partnership means that he has a liberty to partner with anybody. We'll see.
Then that would be his own decision. It has nothing to do with me.
But we still back him.
But how am I backing him when he's not running for office? 2027 election is going to be. We are fighting for our lives and the soul of Nigeria. I've used it war one.
Metaphorically.
I say, whatever you want to take it. Somebody that told you all is fair. So I should say that they just kill me like that. I'm fighting for my life and the soul of my country, and that's how it is everywhere. And one of the things we thought is that this election, we're looking at it, it is manual. It is not about the glitch. No. And people are already there. Men will mount, women will mount.
You're one sentence away from launching your.
I like the energy she's on. I hope that energy will translate to votes, because that's the only thing that matters. If that energy no translates to votes, all this gra-gra, no they walk you. Cannot grandstand your way to power. It doesn't work like that. You cannot grandstand your way to power. You can only walk your way to power. Aisha, I like your energy, but Yeah. You gotta back it up with numbers. You understand? You just have to back it up. If you cannot back this grandstanding up with number, I don't know. Let's go and dance instead of grandstanding. Let's dance. Rather than grandstanding. Certificate of return. Misbehave, they will collect power for your hand. Yeah. Hold on. Carry on, teenager!
DSLR or digital single lens reflex cameras require a mirror to reflect the image in front of the camera to the.
That is a dancing governor with a many people celebrate what?
Of the day for this occasion for his goodwill message. Put your hands together, Benue. Welcome one of Nigeria's finest.
Hello, everyone.
Wait.
So, is Wike admitting to being a political criminal, one that is used to?
Shut up.
Far.
We cross live to Port Talbot.
The only reason why Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu was able to
I'm sure it's President Bola Ahmed. We want to say President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The only
He's our
reason.
president now.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No, let's do it. He's not your president, Aisha.
I don't have a president.
No, don't say that now.
Why would I not say that? If you want to
Bola
sit
Ahmed
here,
Tinubu is not your president.
Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the former governor of Lagos State, if you want to sit here,
so that you be the one interviewing.
No, I don't even need to. I'll just walk away so that you answer. You ask yourself and you answer yourself.
In his August media chat, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike heavily criticized your principal, Mr. Peter Obi, arguing that his public persona does not match his governance track record. How do you respond to this?
Mr. Wike is a mere appointee. When he becomes a presidential candidate and he makes that statement, I will respond to him. Right now, it's a waste of my time.
Is the FCT Minister and
he's an FCT minister, but the mayor appointee.
Is determined to deliver FCT where he presides over, and River State. So you don't think his comments matter?
It's not. His comment doesn't mean anything. It's not worth it. It's just a mere appointee who has to, do what is called boy for his principal. So I do understand with him. It's not worth any response. If Mr. Wiki, I said I'm mere appointee. Let's see when he said it. Even for River State, they send a message.
If Peter Obi says, for instance, he will support Article.
You see, this is this kind of energy I want to see from the Obi campaign. Responding to every comment other than that of the president at this point is a distraction. They should dedicate the Gen Z to the response to people like Wiki and all that kind of a thing. This is time to stay focused on the goal ahead. No form of distraction, because that will be one of their tactics. One of the tactics that the Tinubu administration and the Atiku and what have you, that they with directed use against Obi is distraction tactics. Comment from irrelevant players. Irrelevant in the sense that if you respond to a wiki, doesn't mean anything. It's mere distraction. So why wasting that energy rather than staying focused on it? So I like the energy that Aisha is keeping up with. But all I can say, I hope this energy translates to votes, because that's the cocoa. The pata of them all is that regardless of how your energy, how you present your energy, what kind of energy you are applying, what kind of focus that underpin your competition, you have to be able to lead people to the vote, to the polling unit.
What would you tell him? Would you back him?
He's supporting Atiku now. He's supporting. Is it Aisha that is supporting? No, so let me tell you something. Peter Obi does not own an Aisha.
Yes.
So I'm not an employee. Like sometimes people say, "Oh, you work." I don't work for Peter Obi. I work with Peter Obi. So I am my own person, and I'm giving him support.
Absolutely.
So the fact that if he decides to support anybody, so what does that mean? You say if he decides to drop out of the race and support any, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Then that will be his own decision. It has nothing to do with me.
But
this is I don't know. I question Aisha's loyalty to the Obi presidential ambition at this point. Aisha is not a novice. It's been in this arena for a minute. To say I am not working for Obi is different from to say I am working for Obi presidential campaign. Working for Obi presidential campaign is not as the same as working for Obi. Maybe that's how I should put it. But saying that I am my own person, come on, everybody knows that. In other words, you are saying that I am open. So down the road, I will not be surprised if Aisha take a different responsibility that is indirectly linked to Bola Tinubu administration and far away from Obi's interest or influence. Because that's what she's saying. And again, it's not encouraging. It is not fucking encouraging, especially when you have successfully established yourself as one of Obi pillar, one of his loyal lieutenant. Since the day you pick up that responsibility of working beside Obi, working for Obi presidential ambition, You've been at it. Nothing shake you. I respect that. But the fact that you are making explicitly clear that you are not working for Obi, I am my own person. I'm working for myself. I'm only partnering with Obi. It's not encouraging. And he's saying more than you think. He's saying that I'm open to work with anybody. I'm open to work with the presidency. But most importantly, this is not going to work. It is going to fail. That's my interpretation of that.
To back him.
But how am I backing him when he's not running for office? 2027 election is going to be. He's going to be. We are fighting for our lives and the soul of Nigeria. I've used it World War I.
Metaphorically.
Whatever you want to take it. Somebody that told you all is fair. So I should say that they just kill me like that. I'm fighting for my life and the soul of my country, and that's how it is everywhere. And one of the things we thought is that this election, we're looking at it, it is manual. It is not about the glitch. No. And people are already there. Men will mount, women will mount.
You don't know what an AI work management platform is?
Men will mount, women will mount. Na manual. If the election is going to be manual, means you've been manually on ground and working for the past 3 years. If you are not physically on ground working for the past 3 years, you don't fail. If the election is going to be manual, that means
And my guest today is
transactional.
An Amazon, Aisha Yusufu, girl child activist. She's also a politician now and a member of the Nigerian Democratic Congress. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Same here. Same here.
You're welcome. Let's get on with our conversation. When President Tinubu met with the Catholic bishops a couple of weeks ago now, amongst other things he said, one of the ones that were so controversial was the phrase, in inverted commas, all is fair in politics. All is fair in politics. Now, many have alluded to the fact that since that comment was made, we've seen some rhetoric that would seem to have fed off that kind of statement from the president. For instance, the Sheikh Jengil in Kano last weekend actually was speaking at a public event, and we had 3 governors: Jigawa governor, Kano state governor, and one other state governor, maybe Kebbi. They were there, and they were laughing when he was saying he supports the Muslim ticket, which nobody can deny him his rights to support whoever, but that we're showing them, the Christians, that Muslims are more in number, and if Muslims are more in number than Christians, if Christians don't like it, they can leave the country for us. And he called Christians infidels. You're a Muslim, devout Muslim. How do you respond to this?
There's nothing surprising in what Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu said. And when Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu met with the Catholic bishops, right, I don't even see it as controversial, because when you say it's controversial, when something is controversial, it depends on who said it. When someone is known to say those kind of things, it becomes norm. That's what he's used to saying, and he has gotten away with it multiple times. So for him, he has normalized that in the way that he said it. We remember grab it, run with it. He made that statement: power is not served a la carte. You grab it, go with it. And he told his people. And for him to even tell the Catholic bishops about all not being fair in politics, they've already had their series of meetings where that has been the blueprint of what they want to do in 2027. And you just mentioned the sheikh that had said that also recently, I think, is he a senator, a sitting senator or something in one of the states?
Senator Defo Downsy, Osun
Exactly,
State.
said it was people should be killed
Yes.
on that. So we're already used to seeing their supporters, anyways, on X threatening people and actually carrying out the threats and nothing happening. So for me, I really don't see, anything new in the statement that Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu made, because Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he will make such statement. In terms of the statement that was made by the Islamic cleric, one thing I would like for everybody, you understand, hold on to the anger that statement evoked in you. It's a challenge. I remember, and now let me digress a little bit and go back to 2022. I'm not very sure now, but I think it was Festus Keyamo that had come to do a statement where he said that he accused Mr. Peter Obi of trying to bribe, the Christian leaders.
At this point, I will say, hold on, Aisha, hold on. Be careful what you ask for. Even though I like the direction you are taking it, right? The Christians should take it to heart and come out and show it with their numbers. But at the same time, in the same vein, in the same sentence, though silently, you are also telling the Muslim to put up the same energy. Which, for me, I would love to see that. At least, let's put the debate to rest. I would love to see it. But I would say be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for. You might just get it.
Or something like that. And I did a tweet. And I said, if anybody thinks that we're campaigning, that anybody needs to bribe Christian leaders for them to understand that a Muslim ticket, it's not just an insult, but an injustice and, a blatant telling you that you do not matter as a Christian in this country, then I don't have any words for any of such people. Because if you say in the country where they're supposed to have 50%, and there's supposed to be equity, and we know how divided Nigeria is. On a normal day, it's not something that people should blink eye out of. I mean, I'm from Edo State, and I see Christians.
At this point, I will predict that Aisha will work for Atiku Abubakar campaign. At this point, there's no way. If you are directly telling the Christian leaders to get to work, you are playing Atiku's card. You are playing to Tinubu and Atiku's card, because the only way Tinubu can win 2027 and Atiku taking over in 2031, if the election go this way, Christian against Muslim, Muslim against Christian, or not against South, South against South, politically speaking. And if you, from what you have been saying so far, from saying that you are not working for Obi, but you are working with Obi, that you guys are partner, tells me the gate is open for you to partner with anybody else. But that is not just the point. You are not. That shows that you don't have confidence in the Obi's presidential ambition anymore. But going from that kind of energy to saying that the Christian leader should yield to every other noise that is out there and get to work, that's Atiku's rhetoric. That is Atiku's whole grand strategy. That is Atiku's whole ticket to Asu Rock. And I am predicting Aisha is already partnering with Atiku. Aisha already, politically speaking, in talk or in bed with the articulated. And sister, I don't blame you. I'm on my way. Keep a seat for me.
Christian, ticket every day. People tell me, even as a Muslim, that I can't be a governor of Edo State. But you know how polarized Nigeria is. For that to be allowed to stand, and people are like, it doesn't matter, whatever. They've already sold yourself. That's the message you have sent. That is the message, because we've continuously seen Nigeria as a place where the moment a person of, how do I put it, people see their own in power, they become extremely arrogant. We saw the only time I think we did not experience that was during Obasanjo. He didn't give anybody room to even begin to do that. We saw even with Jonathan. I'm from the South, and you know how arrogant Southerners were during the time of Jonathan. There's always that arrogance. You saw when Buhari was in office, the way those that would call themselves Fulanis, and the whole thing. So it's something that has been in Nigeria and be on it. But to say for me to even see those governors, that means it is what they have discussed inside their houses, and it's so unfortunate. And let me tell you something. For me, most of these malams, I call them malaman alat. In Hausa, meaning malams that are dependent on alat. These are people that are paid by government.
That's the sheikh now.
The sheikh, I'm talking about the sheikh. I think in Zingina or Jingina.
Jingir, I think.
Jingir, let me not miss, because for me, I have issues with names, remembering people's names. That particular, this thing. They go and check Nigerian budget. They are collecting billions of naira to build mosques. They are paying some billions to build churches. Are those the people that are going to speak for the people? They are not going to speak. They are protecting their jobs. And I remember I think it's 2019, where there was a memo that came out from Kaduna State, where it was said that, the Kaduna government written that they had paid malams for favorable sermon. Are those the kind of malams that anybody should be listening to? You also would see situations whereby even in the, you see pastors and leaders. I remember, I think recently I've seen a religious leader who called out Pastor Adeboye and said that is it because of the monies they are giving to them. I saw a video like that. And so we have these people who don't talk. Even during COVID, right? I think it was in Gandu. I'm trying to remember the facts correctly now. Kano State, then Governor Ganduje, that had said if they do anything to tell people not to take the vaccine, they're going to take them off the payroll that they are in. So these are people who are paid by government. So they would say anything to defend that. But one of the things I will also say is that look at the body language that is coming out from the north. Nobody is listening to those malams. In short, they are abusing. And I am in my 50s, right? Born and brought up in Kano. Grew up in Kwana Hudu. I was born and brought up in Kano. You understand? I speak Hausa like a native. I lived amongst Hausa. I grew up there. For the first time, you've seen the northern youth revolting or standing up against the Malams. You saw the other day when Sultan of Sokoto was said to have said that people should vote for APC. Literally, they were cussing him out.
Hold on for a second. There is a breaking news. Hold on for a second. Hold on. When you are saying if you be no contest, I will support Atiku and all that. Like that, there's a smoke somewhere. Wait a minute.
Edition of 30 Minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television with me, Manir Dan Ali. Our guest.
You see the headline, Mutumina? You see the headline, people? Nobody is sure ADC, NDC, PDP will be on the ballot. Bala Ahmed. Kamboro Obanan. Why Bala Ahmed? Bala Ahmed na.
Today is the national chairman of the People's Redemption Party, the PRP, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, whom we've invited to shed light on the new scheme to bring together opposition parties that will challenge the sitting president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in January's election. Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Madam. I'm honored to be on your program.
How serious is this effort to bring together all the opposition parties under one roof in order to seriously face the challenge of contesting against the sitting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
It's very serious. I know that the context in which this initiative is being pushed is genuine. I know that there's a huge groundswell of concern that the opposition is in some kind of disarray. I know that Nigerians are worried about the quality of our democracy with this huge monster of party, APC, that in spite of all the money in the world and all the politicians in his camp is still bent on decimating opposition to make sure that it doesn't have any problem in 2027. That worries a lot of Nigerians. So it's a very serious thing. And we in the opposition take it very, very seriously. And Nigerians should take it seriously. Our democracy is at stake. It's under threat. And this is not just a job for us. It's also a job for all Nigerians.
But you know, the parties, the political parties will have to provide the leadership. Is it not strange that the whole initiative is coming from some academic and some activists and not the politicians themselves?
Well, with due respect, no, really. There have been earlier initiatives. We've been speaking to ourselves and with ourselves. Different parties have spoken to different clusters of parties. I can tell you that speaking only for the PRP, we've spoken to about 5-6 parties, trying to see if we can build some kind of an alliance that will help us to reinforce each other and the opposition protect each other's backs. I think the difference between what we had done before and this one is that this initiative is coming from outside the political parties directly. And what it does is that it reminds us that there's a world out there. This is not the 2027 elections. It's not just a job for the parties. It's a Nigerian task. It's a job for Nigerians. And I think that is the real value, the difference between what we've been doing and what looks like this effort by, I think they call themselves the G100, to try and see if we can have a real alliance of some sort. But we have been talking, and we have to talk. The truth is, I don't think there has ever been any time when the opposition has been in such disarray, not just because it is opposition, but because it has been assaulted and damaged by the ruling party to a point where it's very, very difficult to know whether we will survive to the next election. Those threats and fears are real. But we welcome the new initiative. But many parties were already on board on the idea that some kind of collaboration, some kind of alliance is necessary, and it's not a luxury.
But many people will say it's easier said than done, and some cynics may even ask, in the manner that Hitler was said to have asked, how many divisions does the Pope have? So how many supporters do these activists have if you are talking about the real politics and voting in Nigeria?
Hello, my name is Adam Ferrari, and I'm the CEO of Phoenix Energy. I look forward to you joining us at our next webinar where you can drill deeper into our bond offering.
Well, the activists only need the parties to agree to improve the manner in which they relate to each other. That's cool. The activists' job stops when the political parties pick the button on their own and drive the process. So I thought you were going to ask me of what value is the alliance, how many parties and how weak we are. But I'm happy you didn't ask me that, even if you have to ask me later. These activists, I think, are sincere, they're genuine, they're well-meaning. Perhaps, to be honest, maybe we needed a push from outside the political party system. We've got the push now, and the race is up to us. There are a number of still steps that we have to take in order to solidify and establish a genuine relationship with each other and improve the way we operate. But this is a commendable thing. But this is a party affair. This is party to party. We would welcome the involvement of civil society, activists, anybody who can reinforce opposition in this country under the current circumstances is welcome. But we know that in the next few weeks, this is going to be entirely an alliance of political parties, perhaps supported by civil society and activist groups.
You keep emphasizing genuine intention, but many will say it takes much more than that. There's a lot of hard work to do to maybe for the parties even to agree to come together, because obviously, unlike your party, the PRP, which is not a dominant party, the bigger parties may think twice. They will say, okay, what is it in it for me? Why will I want to go into alliance when I have a feeling that maybe I can go it alone?
Well, let me say this. You use words like the bigger parties, and let's be fair to ourselves too. APC is a mockery of a party. It's not a political party. It's a horrible machinery operating literally to diminish the Nigerian democratic process. It doesn't work like a party. It doesn't act like a party. It doesn't think like a party. If you don't believe me, just look at their last primaries. They are still paying huge price for all the things that they did to each other. They've got so much money and so much power that they've been able to have 32 governors in their ranks. Now, this is Nigeria. You and I have some understanding of what do you promise governors for 3, 4 different parties, 3, 4, 5 different parties, all to leave their parties and walk over to you, enjoy your party, and sit there and keep quiet about insecurity, poverty, and everything, and just simply simply sit down and wait for 2027 to come back. What is it in APC that is attracting so much money? They've got trillions and trillions of money that they have saved or they are saving for the elections.
But I'm actually talking about the opposition parties, not the APC. The opposition parties who may style themselves as bigger than PRP.
I understand. I'm setting the context for that. Against the backdrop of this huge monster that the APC is, who is a big party? Let's take PDP has virtually been destroyed. In all honesty, this is not saying anything about their election. They've been destroyed by massive assault. They're factionalized hugely. They are in disarray. They are in box. Okay, so ADC also has massive internal issues, massive legal issues to deal with. NBC is also before the courts. And virtually, there's no party, including ours. Our presidential candidate is facing a court in a challenging court over the legitimacy of his election as a candidate of the party. Beyond this, there are all sorts of issues that we face. One, either common issues or issues peculiar to our own party. So the truth is, there is no big party in this country. There are politicians who like to think that they straddle this country. Within the opposition too, there are politicians who think they are only waiting for 2027 to walk into power. But I think that all of us in private know that defeating the APC begins by accepting your limitation and then addressing them. How do you compete against this monolith, defeating the APC? How do you compete against a monolith that has everything on its side and nothing on your side? How do you measure big parties? Who is the big party? Or by what standard do you measure? 5, 6, 7 months within election, nobody is even sure that 2, 3 of these parties will be on the ballot. I'm being honest.
So Dr. Hakim, what you are saying, what you are essentially saying is that there's a compelling reason for all the opposition parties to come together if they want to get a fighting chance of defeating the ruling party. If they stand alone, it makes it very easy for the ruling party to make a mincemeat of them.
I'll make you a bet. Try WhisperFlow once, just once, and I bet you'll never go back to typing. Next time you open ChatGPT, don't type your prompt. Just talk it out. And I mean through WhisperFlow, not ChatGPT's built-in voice. When you speak, you'll get 5 times more detail than when typing in half the time. And when you use Flow, you get the fastest, most accurate dictation. The prompt gets richer and cleaner. The answer gets better. Plus, it works in any app on any device. So the next time you need to send a text or an email, just speak it using Flow. AI polished, ready to send. What used to take minutes takes seconds now. And next time you have an idea on the go, don't let it disappear. Just speak it, brain to screen in real time. How many good ideas have you lost because typing was just too slow? One dictation, that's all it takes. Just try it once for free. And let me know if you went back to typing.
Every video production can benefit from the tools to help stabilize and stylize camera movement. These include tripods, monopods, stabilizers, gimbals, rigs, cranes, sliders, and dollies. Let's talk about how each works and what they will allow you to achieve. As the name states, tripods have 3 legs or points of support. This provides a solid and stable base for your camera. Combined with a fluid head, video tripods allow for a videographer to get a stable shot but also perform smooth camera moves. Monopods are light, compact, and easy to move around. Think of them as a speedier tripod alternative. Perfect for the videographers who need to move quickly, a monopod allows users to quickly set up and move around the camera while also taking up less floor space than a traditional tripod. Camera rigs are modular structures you can build around your camera to protect it as well as to hold different accessories. They allow you to mount accessories such as a matte box, external battery power, a follow focus for your lens, and more. Stabilizers and gimbals feature motorized or weighted support that help stabilize the camera, allowing the user to achieve smooth video footage while on the move. They are a great alternative to handheld shooting and are an amazing solution for following action. Cranes are great for capturing smooth establishing shots and B-roll. The camera is mounted onto one of the ends and has a counterweight on the other side for smooth movement, oftentimes starting in heights that would not be possible handheld. A slider is a tool that can help take the camera smoothly from point A to point B, sliding it along a set of rails. Sliders are great for reveal shots, but if you're doing larger scale productions and need to capture more distance or move with speed, a dolly would be better. Dollies support video cameras for horizontal moving shots. They have wheels and are pushed or pulled. Hope this helped you get a better understanding of the various tools available for video productions. If you have any further questions, you can live chat, video chat, call, or email us.
Thank you for putting it better for me. I knew we'd get the idea. Thank you very much, man. That's exactly the point I'm making. And it begins, this is the lesson, this is the starting point. Acknowledge the fact that don't just get up and say we are the big parties, we are forming alliances with small parties. Everybody is a small party if you look at the limitations that we're being made to live. Everybody has challenges. And the only way in which we can deal with APC and make sure that we do not allow it to come back in 2027 and continue to destroy this country is to unite. Our strength, our size depends on the degree to which we collaborate with each other. That's the point I was making.
So you reckon then that maybe the easy part may be that, which is all the parties acknowledging that they have to come together to have one formidable front, alliance, or whatever you may want to call it, against the ruling party. How do you then convince Nigerians they are any different or any better than what you want to displace?
Well, the answer lies in the kind of coalition or in kind of relationship we build with each other. First of all, it has to be an alliance of parties that have clear identity and a clear vision of what we will do if we get power. The most important thing first is that we must remove APC from power in 2027 legally and through the democratic process. We must agree there. Without any equivocation, without any doubt, without any hesitation. This is going to be an alliance of the willing, and the most important, the first item on our agenda is that we are determined, along with Nigerian voters, to remove the Tinubu administration. Another 4 years, Tinubu will be a terrible disaster for us. That is the first message that we have. The second one is the quality of collaboration that we have with each other. If this collaboration is going to work, we must work on the basis of some form of equality of parties, as well as a recognition of the fact that we must make concessions for each other and to each other, so that the alliance will benefit from a level playing field, trust, and confidence that this is not a project for one or two politicians or political parties, and the rest are just simply lining up to support other parties. So we think Nigerians will believe us. We believe Nigerians will believe us. We believe that we can sell the idea that an alliance is necessary to get rid of the Tinubu administration, that an alliance is possible, but this alliance must be supported by Nigerians because it has a number of key goals that it has to achieve. And whereas we're in early days, we will be, in the next few weeks, we will be unveiling what this alliance stands for, what it will do if it gets the votes of Nigerians to replace President Tinubu in power. And actually, even what type of alliance? There are also the alliances that we have. But what?
Indeed, there are quite a lot of details I would want us to explore further. When we come back from this short break, I would want us to explore a bit of details of what you are beginning to set out about this alliance of the opposition political parties. Viewers, it is 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television, and our guest today is Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed. We'll go on a short break and resume the conversation shortly thereafter.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible. Nina can't code. Interesting. Can it generate reports?
It can now.
Nice. So you're saying we can all build apps now?
Yeah.
I'm on lunch. I gotta make a call.
I'll be
in my
right
office. Just built an inventory tracker. Protein calculator. Book sharing app.
A workflow manager that
Tracks who still owes for the group lunch.
Trash duty schedule. Since no one seems to care.
just built a
I just created a goal tracking system.
We built the same thing, didn't we?
Yep.
Can this thing manage content?
Is the SOC compliant?
I want to animate this graph. Create a party planner.
Profesor de español.
An inter-office dating app.
For dogs. For office dogs. You know what I mean?
Okay, hit me. What's the damage?
Nothing.
Overnight? There's got to be 1,000 tickets open.
Theo, the Monday IT agent, routed, solved, and answered everything. Queue is clear.
No queue? No fires?
Clear blue sky. Thank Theo. Have a nice one, day shift. Monday.com. People and agents working together.
Welcome back. It is still 30 minutes, the interactive program of Trust Television, and our guest today is Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, the chairman of the People's Redemption Party, PRP, one of the political parties trying to form an alliance that will present one front against the sitting government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Doctor, I want us to maybe unpack a bit of the details. You are saying that you will now try to articulate and then communicate your vision, your alternative vision of to Nigerians, because it may not be an easy sell to want to displace one party with another when things are not that defined. So what further difference will you want to show between you and the sitting government? Because just yesterday I saw one of the big officials of the government saying that challenge these opposition parties. What will they do different? Because he was kind of talking about all their achievements, the forex, the new salary, minimum salary for the armed forces, for the workers, and many other things. So how different are you going to be?
Well, I think on this question, I would be safer if I only speak for my party. It's early days yet. This alliance is about to get together. And you asked me a question which I answered honestly, that if this alliance is going to make an impact, it has to be identified with distinct, very clear understanding of what it will do, as opposed to what Tinubu will continue to do to this country. We haven't sat down yet to knock together ideas. The PRP, which I have the privilege to lead, is a party that lives on principles. And from day one, we made it very clear. Our path is diametrically different and opposed to a lot of the things. The anti-poverty, the poverty, the insecurity, the corruption, the incompetence of President Tinubu's administration. We're opposed to that, and we have identified a number of things that we can do, we will do as a party, if Nigerians trust us enough to vote us into power. When we're talking at the level of an alliance, it becomes a slightly different issue. We will need to have to identify a number of things Nigerians will say. Well, who are you? We know you're an alliance of parties, and you've come together because maybe alone it will be difficult for you to defeat you, but together you can achieve success over Tinubu. What would you do? I would not want to preempt that stage of the discussions, but I can tell you that we are very sensitive to the fact that Nigerians want to hear what we will do. The same way you're asking this. What is it about this alliance that promises to be different? And some of them will even ask us, how will you get rid of President Tinubu's administration? This is a government that has never collected as much money as we see today, and as many politicians as possible in one camp. How are you going to defeat them? And then, of course, like you said, then they will say, okay, let's assume we support you. What would you do? We are thinking, we are trying to find common issues. What I can tell you at this stage, when I was privileged to engage with the drivers of this initiative, I made clear that it is very important for us that this alliance does not become a vehicle for the actualization of the ambition of one or two people. That is very important. It must not be a forum for the endorsement of the ambition of a particular political party. That's the second one. The third one is that it must promise something that is radically different. Now, a number of the colleagues we are going to interface with and work with in this coalition, I'm talking about PIP, do not have very clearly defined goals and objectives in terms of what they will do if they get power in 2027. We do. So there was going to be a lot of discussion and negotiation in terms of what we will say to Nigerians we will do. Now, it may not be an electoral alliance, meaning we collapse candidates and parties behind either a candidate or a particular set of goals. It may not be. Even the nature of the alliance itself hasn't been defined. So it's difficult to answer this question beyond either speaking for our own party here or say, let's wait and see. The next few weeks will tell us whether there is an alliance that is based on goals and objectives, governance objectives, or an alliance that is based on ways in which we can take on the APC and make sure that it doesn't come. And there's a difference between the two.
Yeah, I understand it's still early days, but you just said yourself that you don't want it to be a vehicle for the realization of the ambition of somebody. So how do you deal with that very sensitive issue? Because even when you start talking about alliance, in people's minds, the question is it going to be Atiku Abubakar? Is it going to be Peter Obi? Is it going to be Donald Duke of your party? So how are you going to deal with that? Because at the end of the day, it will still come to that. Who will be the candidate?
It might. It might. Or it might be that all three of them run, but the alliance would have tremendously succeeded in reducing the negative impact of the APC government. And therefore, it creates a more level playing field where any one of these three or others that you mentioned can emerge as a president in a free and fair and credible election. That's why I began by saying there are a lot of things we can do. We can reduce the damage that the judiciary is doing to us by simply raising our voices and getting Nigerians to raise their voices around the politicization of the judiciary. We can improve the credibility and the integrity of INEC by raising our voices against the infringement on its rules and its methods, and getting Nigerians also to raise their voices. We can do a lot of things between now and the elections that will improve the electoral environment and the credibility of the elections that will hold in February and March next year, so that any one of these people that you mentioned, we can run against each other and still provide a level playing field such that whoever among them becomes president, the country will say, we believe this election was fair. So
well, let me get this clear. Let me get this clear. Are you saying that even with the alliance, all your parties will have their presidential candidates? If that is the case, isn't that defeating the whole purpose?
No, it just simply clarifies. There are a lot of people who think an alliance must, in the end, or one party. That is not just the kind. That's why I'm saying there are different types of alliances. If you have the mindset that if the alliance doesn't say it must be that candidate of that party, otherwise it's not an alliance, I would disagree with you. That's not necessarily the end of an alliance. The end game must not be just simply to say it must be everybody must collapse, stand down your candidate, stand down your elect, collapse your parties behind this person. It's not necessarily the only way out. And I identified to you a key element of what this alliance could be. It could be to improve the level playing field that everybody needs in order to save democracy in 2027, meaning that whoever emerges as president in 2027 would have emerged with the support of the votes of Nigerians and understanding by all Nigerians that that election that produced person is credible. That is not a mean thing in the context of where we are. The Nigerians don't think that we are going to have credible, free and fair elections in 2027. That is a terrible thing. To have a leadership election that is contested and challenged, even with threats to security of this country and threats of survival of our democracy, those are very, very serious threats. And if that is one of the things we achieve, we would have achieved a lot. Now, whether
but if I want to take you on that, I know we've run out of time, but I want you to briefly address that. If you just end up helping to have a credible election that the sitting government wins, have you more or less not worked in the service of the sitting government? Because instead of having a court sham election, you have one that looks credible and it delivers that result.
If there is free and fair and credible election in this country, APC will not come back. But let's assume that we can identify credible, free and fair election. Let's assume all Nigerians agree. INEC does its job well, the judiciary doesn't get involved, there is no use of security in these things. Nigerians have free and fair election, and APC wins. In the improbable case that APC wins free, fair, and credible election, all will support it. We will support it. But we are absolutely convinced that Nigerians will reject APC. We're in contact with the people. We know what the people think. We know how they live. We know that they will reject this election. And we are likely to produce another leadership, not that of the APC. But we can't do that alone unless we actually collaborate with this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hakeem Baba Ahmed, National Chairman of the People's Redemption Party, for coming onto the program.
It just simply...
I disagree with Baba Ahmed that if the election is free and fair, APC will lose. Don't say Bola Tinubu will lose, we say APC will lose. And that's why I disagree with him. Because they are not selling any other alternative policy outside what APC is presenting. They are just banking on the fact that democracy is dying. Democracy is dying. Who is killing it? And who tell you that democracy is still going to survive anyway? We are an era called technocracy. The idea of democracy is you are seeing the beginning of the end. So this idea that democracy is dying, Bola Tinubu has killed democracy, or whoever has killed democracy, we actually sell and deliver them victory at the polls. It's ridiculous. If you go tell an average voter that democracy is dying, the question they will ask you, who is killing it? Who killed it? Since when? So it is a lazy idea, but of course I get it. Their whole point is turn by turn. They are just buying time because nobody is presenting a different alternative other than what the APC are actually offering. So to be banking on the fact that if the election is free and fair, APC will lose. The fallacy be that. That will not happen. And if you are saying, okay, why are they not rigging the election? Yeah, they rig the election will not be free and fair because even the APC know that it's not by votes, not by negotiation. Now, who spend the most money behind the scene? There are bigger interests that you have to get on your side. And those interests are not necessarily after your money. They're after your compromise. If you get into power, are you going to hands off this sector? Are you going to implement so? Those are the deals that produce a president. And as far as I'm concerned, our Nigerian elite are in the same school of thought. So none of them is opposing to any deal that is presented before them. They are all American and Western chihuahuas. So all those ones are, so that competition is settled. Come and deal with the local ones. The local ones, that's where you now manipulate the results. It is the local power that you bribe, that you buy. The external power, you have to sign a deal. So and all of them are agreed to the deal that outsider is offering. And to negotiate the local power, that's where you spend money. So once you understand that presidents are producing that kind of arrangement, of course, that's why the election will never be free and fair. as simple as that. And by negotiation. So when you negotiate the external power of it, then you buy the local power. And local power are the local elites. And my definition of elites are anybody in a position, any group of people in a position that have the persuasive power. In other words, you have the persuasive power, you have the capacity to coerce, to persuade thousands or millions of Nigerians. And this kind of power can be attained in few ways. Economic power, you are a billionaire, for instance. If you are a billionaire, that means you have nothing less than 25,000 millionaires that you produce. That means you have nothing less than 5,000, 10,000 people under your payroll, directly or indirectly. That's a lot of power. Or you have a coercive power, you have the military power. Just you, me, be a general, you know how many men they follow you. But most importantly, you have the power of violence. That's what the uniform, the generals, the IGs, and the rest of them fall into the category of elite. Then even those that control the streets, the NPO, Luomo them, they have the power to control millions, to have thousands carry out their order, to maintain order on the streets. Then the religious leader them, who thousands worship and carry out their order every Sunday. Both the Muslim leaders. These are the elites when we talk about the elites. And to buy these scam people, to bribe all these scam people is easy. And those people, once you buy them or you bribe them, their job is to manipulate the votes for you. Because that's where their power lies, to rig the process. So when they say rigging, Bola Tinubu know they enter streets by himself, they rig the process. They use thugs. Those thugs are under the word, the command of their leader, who in this case is the elite that rode the street down. So that's why they always make case that if you don't have the national audience, the national president, the national command, you don't have any business necessarily. Why you they stress yourself that who becomes the president, because you know count. People who have thousands and millions of followers are elite. It doesn't matter your age. People like Pella that have millions of followers, even though it's virtually, but out of that 10 million followers, you can see 10,000 of them are real Nigerians. That guy is, whether I like it or not, is an elite. They go bribe him, they go buy him. Because all you need to do is to come out and say, this is who I am supporting. And you will see, say, 3 out of every 5 of his followers will go with that. So that's what it takes to be an elite. And these kind of people, as I said, they are easy to buy. Easy, cheap. They will rig the process for you. So who don't kick off campaign? Let me see who is campaigning. Who has stormed the streets? Because it's officially now anybody can campaign. those that have secrets. You are not officially allowed to unleash your secrets. But if you are still keeping your secret, you have 5 months before the results show. 5 months from now, we are not going to ask what is your secret. We will say, we will tell you what your secret entails, what is the power of your secrets, how many people your secret led to the polling unit. But that's what matters. You are still waiting to Nubu talk.
Before we were using Zephy, things seemed a little chaotic. People know that Zephy is 100% free, but for
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand proxy for His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For exigency of office is not here with us. Permit me to read his statement to you this evening. His Excellency Abdulsalami Abubakar, GCFR, former head of state, Chairman MPC, ably represented by General Agwai, former Chief of Defense Staff. The President of the Senate, ably represented by the Deputy President of the Senate, His Excellency Senator Barrow, the Speaker, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, ably represented. The Inspector General of Police, ably represented by the DIG Operations. The convener, His Lordship Bishop Hassan Kuka. The Chairman, INEC, Professor Amupiton, SAN. Chairman of political parties here present, presidential candidates, members of the diplomatic corps, party elders, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to be here today to take part in this significant event, which precedes the start of the political campaign ahead of the January and February 2027 general elections. I thank members of the National Peace Committee, MPC, especially our former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, the Sultan of Sokoto, and Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka for convening this important occasion. Our nation owes the MPC a debt of gratitude for your steadfastness since 2014 in promoting peace accords that commit political parties and candidates to run non-violent, issue-based campaigns during national and off-cycle state elections. Since 1999, when our country returned to democratic governance, under the stewardship of General Abdulsalami Abubakar and his team, every election period has brought its share of anxiety because of the nature of our politics and the intense competition for power by political actors. While politics and the contest for power can be loud and often create tension and disagreement among politicians, we must acknowledge the progress we have made in our electoral process in terms of transparency and election management by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. With the aid of technology, INEC has recorded remarkable improvement in every election cycle. The introduction of the permanent voters card and BVS, an electronic card reader,
has eliminated voting manipulation, ballot stuffing, and snatching at polling units. These improvements have restored power to the voters who are not sure that their vote will count. Politicians are now more accountable to the people because votes count. These polls have also demonstrated our capacity as a people to conduct ourselves with maturity and restraint. Between October 2025 and August 15, 2026, we witnessed 3 off-season polls in Anambra, Ekiti, and Osun states. Different parties won them, and local and foreign observers described them as free, credible, and transparent. When the process and outcome are manifestly transparent, we see less post-election litigation in our courts. We have gathered today to commit ourselves to a peaceful and transparent electoral process. Signing this peace accord is a solemn pledge to the Nigerian people that we, as leaders, will put the nation's interests above personal or partisan ambitions. I call on all Nigerians, civil society organizations, our foreign partners, and the media to join us in deepening and building a stronger, more vibrant, democratic society. Democracy is not just about periodic elections that get politicians into government positions. Democracy is about how citizens participate in the affairs of their nation, build trust in public institutions, engage civically, and work together for good governance and a more just and equitable society. In the spirit of the accord we have just signed, we must conduct ourselves in
Langsmith engine has been quite helpful in
No, they didn't even hold any this thing, and they were saying things like, "Oh, that one that is work is just to be a moon announcer." In House of call it, he just comes out to announce moon. What does he? Why will he be telling them this? So even these malams, nobody is listening to them anymore. So whatever it is that they are saying, I don't think it's something that anybody should take seriously. But for me, what I want is that the anger that people felt at the statement, because it's a very heinous statement. Even in Islam, the Christians are not called infidels. They are called people of the book.
Exactly. I was actually going to ask you that.
They are not called infidels. They are called people of the book. The Christians, the Jews, you understand? I can't be a Muslim and not believe in Jesus. It's not possible. So for him to make that statement, but they know when they say he who pays the piper, right, dictates the tone, and they know what he knew what he was doing there. They know what they're doing, but the people are no longer fooled at all.
In view of President Donald Trump's remarks about religious killings, which he termed genocide, from the terrorists and bandits, he called it outrightly, Christians are being killed, our Christian brothers are being killed in Nigeria, we're not going to tolerate that, and he went on and on about that. Shouldn't governors from northern Nigeria, northern elites, northern leaders, have ensured that clerics, northern clerics, Muslim Islamic clerics, are properly, not educated, because I think they know what they're doing, just like you said. Should such directives not have been given to clerics by northern elites or governors? What do you think?
Since you started by mentioning Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, I think I'm going to use an American phrase that says, if it ain't broken, why fix it? Yeah. So for the governors, it's not broken. They are beneficiary of this. Most of them would not have been in office if not for division. So they will use whatever it is that they can use to divide. And religion is the one that comes in most handy. Tribalism is also used. Wow. Were we not in this Nigeria? I think the thing with us is that either we forget so quickly or we don't connect issues. After 2020 protest that started as a protest of Nigerian youth, NSAS protest, right? Nigerian youth coming out to say, stop killing us. And there were protests all across the country, north, south, everywhere. Then guess what happened? There was now division that was being used to say, oh, they are trying to remove Buhari. Oh, this is religion. It's because of religion. It's because of tribe. We were all sitting down when there was, is it Arewa Consultative Forum meeting or meeting of Northern Elders? I don't want to mix any of those. And they actually thanked, wasn't it Governor El-Rufai also? They thanked Malams for using religion during EndSARS to cause a division so that the Northern youth then did not continue in joining their Southern, counterparts to do the protest. So what are we talking about? These are people who have benefited from this. And I've always said that there's a symbiotic relationship between Nigerian political rulers and Nigerian religious rulers. They are not leaders. These are rulers. And this symbiotic relationship is that the religious rulers need the political rulers to give bad governance so that they can continue to sell cheap miracles. They can put fear in people. So someone is going to go and meet their malam and say, pray for me. They will do Saukar Quran, they will read the whole Quran, or they will tell you to pay for them to go to Umrah to go and pray for them because you need this, either you need a job, you need your result, you need one thing or the other. With that bad governance, you will need to go to meet them. Why do I need to go and meet a malam to pray for me that I'm going to get visa? There are people who don't need visas to such countries. Same thing with pastors. You're going to meet your pastor to pray miracle and all of that. You want to go and do a testimony. Some people will, after they take their result to them to go and bless it. You won't need to do that if there are good governance, if the economy is, expanding and there are jobs that are available. On the other hand, the political rulers, they need the religious rulers to keep the people subdued. That's why you were hearing during Buhari that protest was haram. Malams were coming to tell us that protests were haram. You can't go, you can't talk to the leaders, whatever it is, you enjoy it. And the more we go on, the more there is hardship. You see, and I've said this thing a lot of times before. That is why you will see Hisbah, we go on rampage. They will be destroying people's alcohol. They will burn there, they will say this and that. And I've always said, meanwhile, those same states are collecting VAT that is coming from alcohol. And for me, that is economic terrorism. I've said people whose businesses are being affected in that way should be able to go to court and ensure that they get a judgment all the way to the Supreme Court. I'm a Muslim. I don't drink. I've never tasted alcohol. But that is my religious injunction. It is not another person's religious injunction. Nigeria is a secular state. Everybody should be allowed to practice their religion the way they want to. You can't force someone to wear hijab. Neither can you force someone not to wear hijab. Let people be and let them do, what they're doing. But what you see is these religious people, they keep on, they will bring out more and more religion where people are suffering to say to them, this world is not for you. So this is the truth. Is in the Islamic part, which is mostly in the northern part of the, this world is not for you. It's a temporary place. When you go to heaven, you enter Jannah. So whatever suffering you're getting, just keep quiet. In the Christian part, which is mostly the southern part, you're being told that why are you making demands on government when you can ask for your own blessing? That's why you heard people praying that this government will favor them. I remember when Tinubu came and we were saying this, they were saying that the government. Okay, are we not all suffering, right now? So at the end of the day, it is not in the best interest for governors, for them to say that, to ensure that, religious leaders are brought to, brought to book or made to behave in the right way. Otherwise, they stopped preaching. I remember in 1992, the reason why I remember that was the year I started university. My first university that I started with was Usman Adam Fodio University. And the then Sultan of Sokoto, I think it was the Suki, yes, before Machido, Sultan Machido came in, had set up something to say, Malams should not just go out and start preaching. You must go through
Thank you all for joining us today. We invited you here today not to declare a victory, but to give an account. For the past 3 years, the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, DCFR, has embarked on major reforms to address age-long economic challenges. The removal of that was quietly bankrupting the country, and the unification of an exchange rate system that had become a source of arbitrage, distortion, and corruption rather than stability. Those decisions came at a real cost, and we're not here to pretend otherwise. Prices rose. The Naira adjusted sharply. Households and businesses felt it, and many still do. What we want to do today is put the whole picture in front of you, the Nigerian people. What those reforms cost, what they delivered, and just as importantly, what they prevented. We're calling this the Nigeria's Reform Scorecard, and it is built to be read honestly, regardless of whether you agree with the reforms. So let me quickly tell you about the scorecard. What we're discussing today runs in 4 parts, and I will encourage you to read all 4 before you write a word. The first is a full account of how the resources were raised and spent. The second sets out, in plain terms, 10 ways these reforms have benefited average Nigerians and 10 harms they prevented. The third is the scorecard itself, 25 indicators comparing where we are with the reforms to where we would have been without them. This is what economists call counterfactual. And the fourth is an appendix with the underlying figures so that anyone, you, your editors, independent analysts, can check our arithmetic and our methodology rather than simply take our word for it. So I believe we have the slides up. Okay. Right. Let me tell you about the numbers. And these materials will be up on the Finance Ministry website as soon as we're done here. So you'll be able to download, do your analysis. So let me tell you about the numbers. Between June 2023 and December 2025, subsidy savings mobilized the sum of 15.8 trillion naira in resources for the Federation. Many people will say, where is the subsidy saving? As a matter of fact, there wasn't any alert to the Federation account with the description subsidy savings. So the subsidy savings showed up in form of higher collection by customs, because for every 1 naira or $1 of import duty before, at 460 naira, it became $1 at 1,004, 1,003, 1,005. The NRS, petroleum profit tax that they collected before, same dollar, higher amount in naira. So the savings showed up in the Federation accounts by way of higher revenue collections as a result of the reforms. Not just the subsidy removal, but also the exchange rate flotation, because we're subsidizing the exchange rates. And that subsidy was not going to the ordinary person or manufacturers was going to rent seekers. Out of these 15.8 trillion naira savings from June 2023 to December 2025, according to the Federation account, the share of the federal government was 5.4 trillion naira, while 10.4 trillion was shared to states and local governments. Okay. In addition, the federal government earned incremental independent revenue in the sum of 3.1 trillion naira, principally remittances from government-owned entities. Okay, in addition to the amount from FAC, the federal government is able to also earn surpluses from government agencies. So those amounts went up. While 11.9 trillion came from incremental borrowing. So people will say, you said you have exceeded your revenue, why are you still borrowing? And we'll come to that. So the additional borrowing that the federal government took for that period of time, June 23 to December 25, amounted to 11.9 trillion naira. A figure that would have been far higher and economically destabilizing without the fiscal space the reforms created. Okay, right. So, altogether, the federal government's incremental resources over the period, remember, subsidy savings, independent revenue, and incremental borrowing, came to 20.4 trillion naira. That money did not sit idle. It partly funded incremental expenses, okay? For that same period, the incremental expenses of the federal government alone, not the federation, was 30.64 trillion naira. Of these, 9.39 trillion went to wage adjustments, minimum wage increases, and allowances for public servants. And I think this is a point that it should be of interest to everyone. The incremental amount that the federal government spends paying higher wages is more than the entire savings that the federal government earned from subsidy removal. Then we have 9.37 trillion that went to external debt service, made necessary by exchange rate depreciation. So if we're paying $1 million before in interest on our foreign debts, it is still the same $1 million, but instead of 460 naira, it's now 1415. That's more naira that we need to incur. And I've said this before, when you have debt service to pay, you don't negotiate, you don't delay, you pay. Because delay or default have consequences. And there's 6.5 trillion that went into strategic infrastructure, making the top 3 expenditure lines. Every naira of this is accounted for, and the breakdown is in the scorecard we are releasing today. So you find the breakdown. It is instructive that the single largest expenditure line, wage adjustments, at 9.39 trillion outstrip the federal government's entire saving from subsidy removal. This is evidence that the reform was never introduced for revenue purposes, but to address entrenched corruption in an artificially managed fuel subsidy and foreign exchange markets. Put another way, of the 20.4 trillion, 58% came from borrowing, 27% from subsidy savings, and 15% from other revenue. against total incremental spending of 30.64 trillion naira. 2/3 was funded by these new resources, while the remaining third, about 10 trillion naira, came from the existing revenue base, despite ending the excessive printing of naira. That in itself is evidence of improved public financial management. So a government that says we will no longer print money, they're spending more just on personnel costs than the savings from subsidy removal. And we're able to still find the balance from the existing revenue base. This is data showing us that public financial management has improved. Let me talk to you about our methodology, because I'm sure someone is wondering, where did they find these numbers? Before I turn to what these bought, what the reforms bought, and what it prevented, let me explain how we built this scorecard. The savings from subsidy removal and FS harmonization increased accretion to the Federation account through higher oil and non-oil receipts, and reduced encumbrances on future revenue, because we were mortgaging our future revenue already just to pay for subsidy on current consumption. We established the level of revenue pre-reform, as well as the growth trend in the 3 to 5 years preceding the reform, and compared these to the revenue post-reform to determine the savings. Very simple logic. Okay. The scorecard itself comprises 25 indicators. So just on the slide that you have on the screen is a summary of how the money was spent. You see line by line with numbers how the money was spent. And this is how the money was funded. I already explained that. Both from incremental resources and existing revenue base. Right. So what else did we do? We analyzed the scorecard, like I told you, 25 of them, along 5 important thematic areas, as you see on the screen. The scorecard itself comprises 25 indicators across 5 areas of the economy, from fiscal sustainability to external stability, investment climate, social impact, growth and productivity, each set out in 3 columns. The first is our baseline, where we started from, where Nigeria stood in May 2023, the month before this administration took office. The second is our current position, where we are now, using the most recent verified data as of mid-2026. The third, and the one we often don't talk about, is where we would have been without the reforms. It's a no reform 2026 estimate, because many of us will oversimplify complex economic management issues by simply saying, what is the price of a tuber of yam today? How much was it in 2023? 1 liter of fuel. And we will conclude that the reform is not working for us, or they are even bad. We're saying there's an important comparison that we often don't avert our minds to. It's what would have been without those reforms. A recent projection of where those same indicators would have likely been today had the subsidy regime, the multiple exchange rates, and unchecked ways and means financing simply continued on their pre-2023 trajectory. That third column is not a guess pulled from the air. It is anchored in the trend already visible before the reforms began. The pace at which debt service was consuming revenue, the rate at which external reserves were being drawn down to defend an indefensible exchange rate, the trajectory of weights and means financing extended forward and checked against what comparable economies have experienced when they delayed similar reforms. Every indicator then carries a plain language assessment, whether it's a major improvement, a structural change, or where a cost was paid, we are being honest, the price of stabilization. So you will see from this analysis, the indicators, where it's green means that progress is being recorded. When you see amber, it means work in progress. Good news is there's no red. And the data is there, you can verify, you can validate. Now, many people would ask, why are we throwing macro data all around? GDP is growing, inflation is coming down, and they say, how does that impact on the ordinary man or the average Nigerian? So we put this together as well. And you'll see that this reform is actually about the average Nigerian. Behind these figures are real, tangible changes in people's lives. Salaries and pensions paid on time, and long-standing pension arrears finally settled. Before the reform started, 27 states were struggling to pay salaries and pensions. A minimum wage more than doubled from 30,000 to 70,000. NEL Fund, now one of the most affordable student loan schemes globally, helping over 1.5 million students through school. In addition, there are cash transfers to millions of households, subsidized mortgages, agricultural support, strengthening food security, and a new tax act that exempt low-income earners and small businesses from tax, while simplifying a system that had overburdened the poor for decades. So the benefits to Nigerians are many. We decided to just share 10 of them. So when 27 states that were defaulting in paying salaries and pension no longer default, today that number is 0, number of states defaulting. They're paying Nigerians. They're not paying Americans or Europeans or foreigners. They're not paying the rich people. They're paying the average Nigerian who can now put food on the table. Many of us in the room will remember, some of us just want to pay $20 for a software to earn a living. We couldn't pay on our cards. Today, one of the banks sent me a note that they've increased the limit to $40,000. It's almost magical that this is happening in such a short period of time. Now, in addition to the benefits to the average Nigerian, we want to tell ourselves the harm that the reforms prevented, the counterfactual. It is harder to see what did not happen, but our scorecard puts numbers to it. In May 2023, 27 states could not reliably pay salaries. Today, that number is 0. On the pre-reform trajectory, our own estimate is that at least 30 states will be in that position by now, struggling to pay salaries. That's not a handful. That's the majority of the federation. The official exchange rate premium over the parallel markets, once above 60%, is now under 5%. Left unaddressed, we project it will be above 150% today, with the Naira simply unavailable at any official rate for most Nigerians and businesses. We're running out of dollars. Our net external reserve was under 3 billion and we're owing over 7 billion. That's bankruptcy. And you know we can't print dollars because we're not the United States of America. What that means is, even to buy fuel, Nigerians will say, God forbid, you hold 3,000 naira and you will not find a liter. But there will be scarcity everywhere. Remember, we're importing refined products. Dangote refinery will not have been able to start because you can't sell at 200 naira per liter and queue up for government to pay the balance of over 1,000 naira per liter. The same government that was already spending nearly 100% of its revenue just to service debts and printing a lot of money. Just to imagine what could have been. Now, the legacy ways and means stock, which stood at 30 trillion as at that time, had been curtailed rather than left to double. If it had been left, it would have more than doubled today, as our estimate suggests. But we're being honest about the cost. We're not saying all of it is rosy. A scorecard that only leaves wins is not a scorecard, it's a campaign leaflet. And we did not come here to give you one. The monetary policy rate has risen from 18.5% to 26.5%. We record that plainly as a cause of stabilization. That's how we recorded it, not a hidden win. Petrol at the pump has risen from roughly 185 naira a liter to between 1,100 and 1,400. That is a major felt cost. And I will not stand here and tell you otherwise. What I will say is what the counterfactual shows. On the pre-reform parts, petrol will likely be simultaneously unavailable. It will still be 185 naira per liter. It will not be available at the official price. And it's likely to be trading in the black market for at least 3,000 naira per liter. That would be extra cost paid in scarcity as well as money without nothing gained in return. And on food and household welfare, our assessment is candid. This remains work in progress. Food inflation has eased from 24.82% to 17.52% as of June 2026. Just 2 days ago, the new numbers came out for July, and it has also eased further. But poverty and household welfare recovery is still classified in our own scorecard as unfinished business, not a victory lap. So where we stand today, the results are now visible in the data, not just in our arguments. Headline inflation has eased to 15.91% as of June this year, down from 22.41% as our May 2023 baseline. Gross foreign reserve stand at 52.5 billion, up from around 35 billion gross, while net reserves have moved from roughly 3 billion to 34.8 billion, a far more meaningful reserve or measure of our actual buffer. The stock market has grown from about 31 trillion naira to roughly 150 trillion naira in capitalization, creating hundreds of thousands of millionaires in the process. Real GDP growth has strengthened to 3.89% against a baseline of 2.31% and a no reform estimate that had us at best stagnant and at worst in recession by now. S&P Global upgraded our sovereign credit rating to B in May, our first upgrade in 14 years. Nigeria exceeded the FATF grey list in October last year and exceeded the European Union's anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism deficiency list in January 2026, restoring our standing in the global financial system. None of these means the work is finished or that every household is where it needs to be. It means the direction is right and the numbers, including the costs, back that up. So as I close, let me talk to you about what we see ahead of us. That's what I've titled Looking Ahead. This scorecard is a mid-course account, not the finish line. So let me share with you what comes next. We will stay the course of reform and accelerate how we translate the macro gains into meaningful impacts for every household. Implementation of Nigerian Tax Act will continue, with further fiscal reforms addressing challenges in our budgeting, reporting, and accountability system. Mr. President has been clear every single time that we need to improve our accountability, and that's part of why we're here today. We expect the tax to GDP ratio to keep climbing as the harmonized system takes hold. On prices, our goal over the medium term is to keep pushing headline inflation towards single digits without ever going back to the distortionary subsidy that got us into this position in the first place. On investments, we intend to keep the exchange rate unified and predictable because predictability, more than any single incentive package, is what is now drawing capital back into our country. We will improve the quality and priority of spending in the most impactful area for our people. And on the areas this scorecard honestly marks as unfinished business, including poverty and household welfare, the next phase of our work is squarely about translating macroeconomic stability into relief that households actually feel. Expanding cash transfers to the most vulnerable, deepening agricultural interventions to bring food prices down further, and working with state and local government to ensure that shared prosperity is delivered from Abuja to every state and every ward in all of our 774 local government councils. Finally, a call to action. What do we want you to do? I will close with 3 simple asks. First, be a citizen. Support positive government policies. We cannot build our country by opposing every government action. Second, criticize government constructively. Misinformation, like anything else we amplify, shapes the reality we all end up living in. We actually pay a price for amplifying negativity about our country. And third, play your part. Seek facts and proper understanding, not populist views or sensational headlines. We're not here to pretend these reforms were painless. We're here to show you honestly and with the numbers what they cost, the benefit they delivered, and the harm that they prevented. We invite you to engage with the scorecard in good faith and with an open mind. The full data will be on the Federal Ministry of Finance website, www.finance.gov.ng. Visit it, question it, and ask for clarification where you need to. Together, let us build the Nigeria of our dreams. Thank you for your kind attention. May God bless you, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, Mr. Yori, you know, when you look at the standpoint of a politician that has been a Democrat from day one, you should realize that it's someone that believes in the peace of the land or the peace of any process. Anyone that is an advocate of democracy, clearly a Democrat means someone that is peaceful. He believes in government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And from history, whoever wants to establish or elevate himself in the private sector has to be a businessman. For someone to pull off his career in the private sector and in polity, you should know the person believes in peace and he believes in democracy. And he believes the fight for democracy was to take the military away, and he was an anchor. He was actually a proponent of that particular project. So anywhere President Asiwaju is there or his message is there, it's one thing. He's a Democrat. He believes in democracy. He has always believed it's the best way to be able to receive power from opposition to government, or from government to any, from opposition to any government, or from government to government. He has been a strong advocate of that. He has proven that in his electoral history, in his democratic theory and history. So that's enough for you to know that if Mr. President is at the venue of signing ceremony or peace accord, or his representative is there, it tells you Mr. President's commitment to transfer of power to political process. That's why Mr. President can go to the South and be a friend of an opposition, like maybe like Abga, Professor Soludo, or have a friend in Zamfara who was a PDP now, an APC person, or be in Oshun, have a friend that is an Accord governor, but is a friend to Mr. President because of how President believes in democracy and he allows for fair play. And I can tell you, Mr. President has a very good friend too in Kebbi, who is a comrade, the comrade governor, Dr. Nasser, who is a comrade, remember, a union leader who Mr. President respect because of his belief in unionism and his respect for democracy. So anywhere you see the hands of Mr. President in the course of this democracy is about peace, is about democracy, is about transparent process in the course of electioneering. So I can put it this way, Mr. Folarin, Mr. President is a believer of democracy. Whoever is a believer of democracy is a believer of peace. Is also a believer of every religion that exists in this country. Is also a believer of every tribe, religion that exists in this country. So I call him a Democrat and I call him our leader. And I really hope we'll have a transparent and peaceful election, that my president, President Asiwaju, will be sworn in for the second term at the end of 2027 election.
Okay, thank you very much. Indeed, all that you said, the president does have the reputation that you've just outlined. This has been his nature. But I imagine that, look, however you look at it, politicians themselves, maybe some politicians in the ruling party, possibly maybe might have been a bit over enthusiastic in their speech. I mean, I'm leading to what has brought this about. All that you've just stated is well known of Mr. President. Mr. President, has friends everywhere. He's a Democrat. He will do the right thing for democracy. That's the legacy he hopes to leave. But this whole matter of looking at it again comes against the backdrop, perhaps arguably, of the most recent election that has been held, and where, look, the president, there's what is called vicarious liability. The fact that you are part of, an organization, well, you have to explain how you differ from what the organization might have been accused of. So maybe we should really be speaking to politicians. Mr. President is fine. He's promised. It is fine that he has promised. But if you were to look at politicians out there on the field, are some of them, their utterances not being, to put it most genteelly, a bit over-enthusiastic?
Yeah, you know, Mr. Folarin, one problem with most of us, our politicians, is we assume during the election is like a wartime.
Yeah, like it's a do or die affair.
Yes. Any person, any human, any Democrat that is out there to seek for the vote of the people, you are serving the people. You're not serving yourself. So you have to put it to yourself that It is the acceptability of the people you seek to lead that really matters to actually be able to define the positivity of your mandate. If the people you are asking to vote for you live in a peaceful and transparent process and believe in the ideology of a peaceful process, they will be able to be your followers and you serve them. But when you are not serving yourself, remember, most of these our politicians have to understand, it's not your family, it's not your townsman or your church or your mosque. You are serving the people of Nigeria who are equal, or people of a state or local government. So you cannot define desperation in the course of your remark. You're supposed to treat everyone equally, this tribe, religion, inclination, whatever it is. And we should be calling our politicians on one thing. You have to accept that when you're out there to seek for the mandate of people to lead, you have to excuse whatever religion they practice, whatever tribe they are, and whatever part of the country they're coming from, or part of the state they're coming from. It is your ability to accept those differences that makes you a leader. Any politician that feels otherwise, I really doubt.
Upwork is our one-stop shop for hiring. We can find, hire, and pay all in one place. Not only do they have
This time, let's talk security. Security comes at a cost, with state governments committing billions of naira to protect lives and property of citizens. About 31 state governments spent an estimated 252.26 billion naira on security and the fight against criminality in the first 6 months of 2026. An analysis of the first and second quarters budget performance reports from January to June obtained from Open Nigeria State shows that Kogi State recorded the highest expenditure at 34.67 billion naira, accounting for 13.74%